now is that they have all those profiles on them. Do you want me to have them white?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, raise your hand if you're going to have heartburn if I do that. All right. So tomorrow you're going to, well, I'll let you know when it's going to happen. Just know that that day, when the kids turn it on, they'll all disappear. Okay? Second thing, I just want to introduce someone to you. Matt, do you want to stand up? Yay, Matt! This is Matt. He's our right-hand man now, and I love him, so be nice to him. He's awesome. You'll really appreciate what he can do to help you. So if you see him around, you'll know who he is. So, yay, Matt.
All right, so hopefully you saw I sent out a pretty lengthy email about the ACT. I'm going to just very briefly go over a couple aspects of it. Wait, because I want to make sure everybody hears this. So like I said, pretty lengthy email. Next Wednesday we're going to do an assembly schedule, PM assembly. Students will go to their rooms. Those will be posted possibly tomorrow, for sure by Thursday, as to exactly where they go. The room assignments are on there. Room supervisor, so if you're the first name in the list on the left, on Tuesday of next week when we do faculty meeting, it'll go until 3, and then from 3 until 3:30 we'll do our, we'll go over our test prep and get ready. And then because it is online, it will be different. Michelle, Lacey, and I will be available both Wednesday and Thursday, anytime during the day during your consultation to help you, or after school on Thursday from 2:20 until 3. That's one of the days of parent-teacher conferences. So we want to help you get comfortable with that. It should be, we've done a mock trial. It should be okay, and I'll give you extensive directions on how to do it, and it should work pretty well, but I want everybody to feel comfortable with it and ready to go with it. So if you see any issues with ACT assignments, please let me know as soon as possible. Send me an email, come talk to me. But just so everybody's aware, next Wednesday, that's the 13th, will be that PM assembly so that they can do pre-registration. Juniors can. Sophomores will be assigned a room where they will be doing practice ACT. Freshmen and seniors will have activities, and we'll roll those out here shortly. Then on the ACT day, just so we're all on the same page, when freshmen, sophomores, and seniors ask, do I have to come to school that day? First of all, GTI for freshmen, sophomores, and seniors runs as normal that day. Okay? For all other students, the opportunity to be here and work on homework or do packets is available. Okay? So if they choose to come is our verbiage. All right? If they choose to come, those will be the opportunities available to them. Lunch is at 12:20, and then there are extension intervention times at 1 o'clock and then 1:35. Yes, question?
Out of curiosity, if we tell our kids they can come in and work a missing work, where are they going to do it?
So we're going to have a couple of classrooms available in the K Hall, as well as the credit recovery room in E203. We can't have them all over, but those rooms will be available with Chromebooks, and if you have, yes.
I would say if you could spare me, I would gladly open my lab for people to come in and work.
The problem is that's one of the hallways where we'll have students testing, so we really just want students testing in that hallway.
They're testing in H house?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't see that, sorry.
That's okay. Okay. Any other questions? I know maybe there's other questions. Feel free to email me and we'll continue to work and talk on this, but thank you for your support and helping our students do the best they can on the ACT.
Hello, everybody. You know, in my language they say talofa, and then everybody responds talofa. Oh my goodness. I just have to say that because I go to church now, this other church, and this other guy, he's not even he doesn't look like me, and he said talofa to everybody, and everybody responded. And I thought, wow, it's time for a luau. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, in front of you is a packet. I have been charged to teach you about social emotional learning in 10 minutes. Do you think we could do it? Okay. Well, you know what? If there's a challenge, I'm bound to do what I can. Kathleen Warren, she has a great story, and she's going to tell you a story that's kind of set the tone for all of us, okay?
So my brother-in-law, we had to adopt when he was going into high school. Both my husband's parents had passed away. And so when we got him, he was pretty damaged, and he didn't really, we kind of overcompensated a lot, you know, kind of thinking about things that he would want to do. And everybody we introduced him to, because he was from North Carolina and he moved to New York, you know, so everything was really exciting for Kevin. And then he got into high school, and he started as a sophomore when my oldest child was a freshman. And one thing we noticed with Kevin was that he lacked empathy. That because everybody was kind of overcompensating for what he had lost, through this process, he just was very you know. So we kind of had to, he actually did this thing with my daughter. He would take turns asking all of her friends out on dates, and then say, oh, no, I just was kidding. I just wanted to see if I could, you know, get you to say yes. And so we really kind of didn't know what to do, and then through going through different therapists and taking him and really talking through this with him, made him realize that, you know, empathy is something that, you know, you have to develop, and you have to understand where other people are coming from and how they might feel. So anyway, I think it's time up. No. So with this, this was basically the skill that we were talking about today in the videos, and really doing that work with Kevin and trying to get him to have empathy. And now he's doing great. He lives in Minnesota, and he's got a good career going in management. But the process of getting him through high school and being empathetic to his peers when he had been through hell, you know, and he just had nothing. So it was really something that my family had to address, and certainly he had to develop that skill. And I just think that when our kids have such sadness in their lives, it's hard to, you know, have that empathy. And so I don't know if you guys showed that skill of the month, but it was a real opportunity for me to engage in that conversation with my students. And so it was great, and I thank Kim Summers for all the work that she does in putting those videos together that we show on Tuesdays. And don't feel bad if you haven't shown your Tuesday video. I am known to, and I was sharing with Dottie, I'm known to forget sometimes, and I say, put it on the next day, you know, so I'll put it on Wednesday if I don't remember on Tuesday, and it's okay for you all to do that, but these Skill of the Months are just a real opportunity for us to have a good discussion with our kids and make a personal connection. And certainly that one on empathy really struck a chord with me, because it was something we had worked with in our family. So, thank you.
Thanks, Kathleen. So, we wanted to make sure that you had a real life story in front of you for today, even though I know within your own classes you have several stories about students who are really struggling, who really don't have the skills on how to be effective academically. So the purpose of this professional learning in a whirlwind is to draw attention to this, that our mission continues to be Granger High School will provide rigorous, meaningful instruction that leads to college and career readiness for all students. So how do we do that? If you will flip the page, I'm going to talk to you about 5 key areas of social emotional learning. And this will be expounded upon by other individuals in this class or in this room today. So please use this as perhaps an initial tool to get you going with social emotional learning. There are 5 key components or competencies that every student and even every adult should have. And that is in the areas of self-management, self-awareness, responsible decision-making, social awareness, and one other that I cannot read in the dark. Building relationships. Definition of social emotional learning. It's written here for you. I'm going to read it. There's just something about reading and following along about a definition of a term that we use, we just kind of toss around. Oh, he needs social emotional learning. Oh, we need SEL. Well, here's the definition for it. It is a process. Social and emotional learning is a process through which children and adults acquire and effectively apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary to understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, and then establish and maintain positive relationships, and finally, make responsible decisions. All of these features are things that you would need in your classroom. And so as we talk today, it's really about how do we embed social emotional learning within our classrooms on a daily basis, and you actually are aware that it's occurring. So on the next page is very briefly a caption, which I thought was really pretty informative. So I put it in a smaller bite for you, and how you read this is this. Let's look at self-awareness. The point of self-awareness is to recognize one's emotions and values, as well as your strengths and weaknesses. If students are able to do this, then they should be able to exhibit the competencies of being creative, identifying emotions, accurate self-perceptions, recognizing strengths, have self-confidence, and self-efficacy. That's how you're going to read that particular card. Then a few ways that you would actually teach this in your classroom in several different ways are a few ideas that are listed to the right. Now that's the beginning stages of how to start looking at self-awareness for your students as well as for ourselves. What areas that perhaps we ourselves might be lacking. The next one is on self-management. You can follow the same method, that it is the understanding of managing emotions, behaviors to achieve goals. And then social awareness, as well as relationship skills, and then responsible decision making. So please, when you get a little bit confused about the 5 competencies, and you need a little bit more detail, please flip to this page. Okay, let's go to the next page.
Seems legit.
How's my time? Am I down to 2 minutes? So here's a question that should be ranging in all of your minds. Are we actually teaching in some form or fashion social emotional learning? The answer is yes. We have begun this charge as early as August and September, and I wanted to make it a little bit more explicit. In the top right-hand corner, it lists the 5 competencies. To the left, it says Granger's Hope Tuesdays. And this is where we actually teach through PowerPoint the skill of the month. And what you should know about these videos is that these PowerPoints were actually developed by our social worker. Kim, stand up, raise your hand. Yes. As well as 3 other social workers. And they put together 4 years worth of curriculum that is sufficient for 9 months. And on top of the main PowerPoint, they also have supplemental lessons. So there's a lot of fuel here for all of us to work towards and have access to. Granger's Hope Advisor, Tracy Timothy, where are you? Tracy, there he is. Tracy is the advisor for Granger's Hope. What was formerly known as the Hope Squad is now Granger's Hope. His charge is to have 40 students and more make sure that the safety and emotional well-being of our students are, that they're helped along by a peer group. So he has 40 students who does lunchtime activities, who do the voiceovers for the PowerPoints. They also do our yearly assemblies, so there's a lot of things that they're engaged with. We do have social emotional learning happening in this school. One other piece. Every Tuesday during second period, you get this link from Mr. Gantz that says Skill of the Month. Guess what? You need to click on that. That's where we need you, every single teacher. You now take it to the next level in your classroom. View it, talk about it, break it down, and apply it. If you can start doing that one little bit at a time, I promise you, you will begin to see changes in your classroom. Okay, next page. And then I'm just about done. This is the Skill of the Month schedule for 2018-19. You view it every first and second Tuesday on GTV. There's a URL below it for those of you who might want to go back to see what the others may be. That link will take you to all of the Skill of the Month for this year. And then as we show them, we will continue to add to that particular URL, so you will never run out. We also listed by the month what the themes are. So for the month of February, the focus is on relationships. In March, it'll be on communication. In April, conflict resolution, and then May, positive thinking. So there's some really exciting things that are coming up that you can build upon. Your building blocks are already set. As you know, we have Harbor Video, 3rd and 4th Tuesdays. Those are to support the skill of the month. Okay, how do you model social emotional learning? You guys, it starts with this. Be transparent with your thought process with your students. There are some great ideas. Find ways to stay calm when you're angry. And then the other one, another one is to help students, or ask questions that help students solve their own problems. We want to empower our students. One thing that we don't want to get into the trap of, and that is this. Our students, they are strong. They have a lot of grit and they can persevere. What they're a little bit weak in are the skills that they need in order for them to be successful academically. So I'm going to end on this note. All great learning happens in a social context. You guys, we learn when we are with each other. We learn by looking at each other's mistakes and the good things that they do. We learn, and it sticks with us when we are actively engaged in making those changes happen. And social emotional learning, these 5 skills will help us to navigate that context that we need to be informed about. And then this is my favorite part. Go ahead and turn to the last page. We have, don't you love this? Additional resources. We have additional resources for the general public and then for the secondary high schools. We are so lucky to have these kinds of resources available to us, and as we start to get excited about the things that we're about to do in this school, make sure that you can use and reach for this as a great tool. Thank you.
All right, are the members of the Guiding Coalition here? Sarah, Brooke, Sherry.
It's that. Yeah, that blue one in the middle. Sorry, I'll let everybody know. All right. I'm going to hand the mic over to Andrea and let her go through the mission statement and vision of this again. A few people are still having some questions, so we're going to go back through those and kind of review and give you a different way to look at things, and then we'll get into what we're doing today.
So yeah, just a quick review. Slide, please. So the purpose of the Guiding Coalition and the task forces is to utilize our faculty resource. Oh, no, okay. I was thinking that the mission should come first. There you go. All right, now. Okay, by all means necessary, students can learn, and we will work hard to help them all achieve higher standards of learning. We, as a faculty, remember, all of this is faculty-driven, and we as a faculty, the majority of us wanted to be a by all means necessary school, and so we want to accomplish our mission by all means necessary. And so that is why we are doing this faculty really initiated program. So let's keep going. The purpose of the grading, so to review, the Guiding Coalition is to work collaboratively to support and guide the faculty, staff, and administration in addressing the needs of the school and doing what is best for our students always. While traditional leadership teams tend to focus on managing the school building, a guiding coalition will focus on infusing the staff with the knowledge and the skills needed to ensure higher levels of learning for all students. So, to kind of paraphrase this, we are actually, as a faculty, we are the leaders in this. And this is your opportunity. So today, just like all the other days, everything that you have said has been weighed in, and it will be a part of that. So you are the driving force. And so it is not a traditional leadership team at all. It is us leading the way. Okay.
Okay, so these are some of your questions that you left on your surveys last time. The first one, the biggest question was time. When do we find time to do this? I think that's always one of our top concerns. When does it go into effect? When do we do the work? Really, it's kind of going into effect now. I mean, we're getting the ball rolling. Ideally, by fall, we'll know who's on what teams and kind of have some ideas for what we want to do so that we can start the school year off with this in place. And when do we do the work? That's going to be up to the task forces who are going to kind of decide that. And you're going to go through and brainstorm some of that today. We've learned a lot of stuff can be done digitally here and there as we find time. But we'll definitely look into meeting times and how that'll work and kind of work on that together. The vision, as Andrea just said, really is that we're just here to improve Granger and make sure we're doing what's best for all students and all faculty and staff members. And this is just a way to help improve communication between all the initiatives that are going on. It's not meant to be something new that wipes everything out. It's just supposed to help connect everything that's already happening and add in the stuff that we're missing. Someone asked, will everyone be involved in the same manner? No. It kind of just depends on what time you have to give and what you're willing to give, what you're interested in. So some people will be more leadership roles in a task force or in guiding coalition, and that's going to be more time, but other people maybe will just give their voice or feedback or maybe share an article, and it might be something quick. So it just depends. Communication between all these groups. The idea is that someone on each task force will also be a member of the guiding coalition. So they kind of are that go-between person who doesn't necessarily have to attend every meeting, but who maybe is the one who sends the email or shares information with the guiding coalition, and then the guiding coalition is who gets that out to the faculty who's not members of every team. The next step we're working on today, so you'll find out a little bit more about that as we go through the task for today. And will it replace other groups we already have? Again, no, that's not the idea. The idea is just to help everything work together more efficiently and to get communication going between all those teams. And then pay, I'm going to let Dr. Dunn address.
This came up several times, and several comments were said, well, what about pay? Are we getting paid extra for this? Part of this whole idea is a we idea. The success of this school depends on all of us. Okay, every one of us are part of the success of this school. It's not one single person. So when we all pull together, we'll have a lot stronger force. And we all have different buy-in into this, okay? Some of us are incredible buy-in to the school. Others, it's my job. I come to school, I show up, and I leave as soon as school's over. So we all have different buy-ins into the school. And that can't be changed. That we all have those differences. So depending on where you're at and how you feel about it, it depends on where and how do I buy into this whole process. If I'm part of this guiding coalition or a task force to move this forward, does it depend on me being a little more involved in one way or another? I'm a teacher. I show up, I teach the kids, and that's what I'm hired for. Well, in order for a school to succeed, there's the aspect of what are we all giving and what are we doing perhaps a little extra time, which a lot of you are doing extra things. Pay. In this process, I always feel it's fair to compensate when the work is being done. So, while we haven't yet determined, even with the Guiding Coalition, what this looks like, I can always tell you that I'm always looking at ways to compensate when it is going beyond what our contract time is. And even though there are people that sometimes don't get paid for doing stuff beyond their contract time, there should be a way of saying, am I vested in this and I'm willing to take 2 hours after school once a month, I'm willing to put in 4 hours, whatever that may be. We want to take a look at making sure that you're getting empowered to do the work that you need to do in order to make this successful. So for this last summer, for example, we found, we used Title I money to pay teachers who wanted to come in during the summer and work on setting up their curriculum, their assessments and everything. I think we had about 80 of the 150 who came in. You were compensated for that. This summer, we'll look at doing the same kind of thing. It might not be in terms of saying we're getting together to look at curriculum because we've already done that. It might be coming together and saying, I'm part of the Lancer Pride task force. I'm part of the social and emotional task force, providing an opportunity for you to come together and be part of that group and find a way to compensate you, to put the time in, and you become and take a leadership role within the school. So this is for all of us, okay? This is for all of us, and over I will say this school will move us forward as we all move forward. So I invite you to just be part of it. I thank you for the work that you do, but as we try to get everybody, I use the saying, do you have skin in the game? Okay? Do you have skin in the game? Do you have skin in this school as far as making sure we're working to make it be the best high school out there? Okay?
Oh, that's it. Never mind. Sorry, guys. Trying to find the right. Where'd it go? Who was it? Oh, it was you that was clicking too many at one time. Sorry. Technical difficulties.
Okay, here's a graphic for you to look at. It's confusing, right? I've been working on this for a while, not this graphic, on the RTI team that's been trying to initiate the Guiding Coalition. And I was shown this graphic, and I said, what? And I'm here to explain this to you. Each circle is supposed to represent a faculty member. So, our Guiding Coalition, we hope to have 20 of us, faculty, staff, and administration, working together to guide the vision of our school. So these circles over here would be the 20 individuals. It could be you, it could be me, it could be Dr. Dunn, it could be Mrs. Allo, it could be Dean Monson, part of this Guiding Coalition. Everybody that wants to be a part of this could possibly be a part of the Guiding Coalition. We hope to have 20, we could go up to 25 members of our staff, because we are such a big staff. We need 20 to 25 of us being a part of our Guiding Coalition to direct our mission, our vision. Inside the Guiding Coalition would be 9 members that would be leaders of our 9 task force. So, besides being on the Guiding Coalition, there would be 9 members of our faculty that would also be the leaders of one of our task force. Okay, so each of these circles is represented by their corresponding colored circle on our wheel here. Each task force, besides having a leader that's on the Guiding Coalition, there should be some members on that task force. Some task forces might have 7 members, some task force might have 15 members. Okay, but you'd be serving on a task force, you might be the leader. If you're the leader, you'd also be on the Guiding Coalition. That way, each task force has a voice into the vision and the guiding direction of our school. Does the graphic make a little bit more sense now? When it first appeared up, you were probably like that. Okay? This is what we want. We want communication hopefully these arrows show that there's communication. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about what they're seeing on this visual? Okay. I hope you all can see yourself in one of those circles and helping our school and building the vision of our school through these task forces.
Okay, so the purpose of this is just to show you kind of what we did behind the scenes a little bit. We took everything from your surveys and from the wheels you created in your teams the last 2 months and found the stuff that works together and kind of categorized them in 9 umbrella task forces. So we just wanted to show you we did take all of your suggestions into consideration and worked them together as best as we could. There were a few little outliers that we might have to work on in future years as they become bigger issues to more people. But we did try to get everybody in there, and so this is just to show you that that's kind of how we worked it out. This does not mean that the social emotional task force is going to take on all 10 of those issues at one time. That would be huge. But those are just the different ideas that kind of work together, like mental health and trauma-informed schooling, the chill room, Hope Squad. Those all kind of were part of the same overarching idea. Okay, and this is just the new wheel. We did add a 9th task force. So we went through and figured out how you guys all ranked them, how many different teams ranked these different things, and we came up with a top 9 as a school. We had to extend it to 9 because that's how many big ones we had that you guys addressed. So this is what they are now. We changed that graphic a little bit, and Sherry's going to explain what you're doing down in the comments.
Can you read this one really quick? They are numbered in order of how many teams and how many the weight that you weighted them on the wheels. So there was a lot for social emotional support, so that's why that's number 1, and that's what those numbers are. Okay, thank you. Okay, this is just a really breakdown of what we're going to do. We're going to go down to the cafeteria. Dr. Dunn sent an email, so you should know which group you're in. I'm not sure how they're organized down there. But.
So they're organized down there from east to west. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9A on the tables that are closest to the windows. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the inside. So there are 2 groups for each one. So you could be a 1A or you could be a 1B, and you're dealing with both the social and emotional. You could be 2A and 2B, so you could be part of the same group talking about the same thing. You just split into 2 different groups.
Thank you. So there's 18 groups because there were 9 task forces. Okay, so we're gonna go down there. These are new groups. These are not the groups that we worked with before. So we'd ask that you just do a brief kind of get to know you. It's all of the information is down there, guys. Okay, so there will be a Chromebook down there, and then there's also papers that you're gonna fill out. So you'll go through, just do an icebreaker. You're there.